He didn't wait for a vision to come. He wrote a poem every day, first thing.
The research for what you're writing is your whole life.
Let the bucket of memory down into the well. Bring it up.
Does a good job of talking about things you can't really talk about.
People recognize in it something they are hungry to hear.
You read him, and you feel you and he are friends.
Support for discovering William Stafford is provided by the James F. and Marion L. Miller Foundation, the Robert D. and Marcia H. Randall Fund for Lifelong Learning, the Kinsman Foundation, a grant from the Oregon Arts Commission and the National Endowment for the Arts, and viewers like you. Thank you.
Once in the 40s, we were alone one night on a long road in Montana. This was in the winter, a big night far to the stars. We had hitched, my wife and I, and left our ride at a crossing to go on. Tired and cold, but brave, we trudged along. This, we said, was our life, watched over, allowed to go where we wanted. We said we'd come back sometime when we got rich. We'd leave the others and find a night like this, whatever we had to give, and no matter how far, to be so happy again.
In the 1940s, William Stafford was on the brink of finding his life path. He was newly married and writing a poem every day.
I have an appetite for finding that perfect fit of language with the experience of life as you're having it right now. Every now and then, you can break off a piece of that and call it a poem.
He had no way of knowing that his simple act of putting pen to paper would have a profound impact on the world of poetry for decades to come.
The poems are surprising. They have an ordinariness about them, or at least a belief in the ordinary. And yet there are strange turns in Stafford's poetry and phrases that just, I don't know, kind of leave you breathless.
William Stafford's almost like Oregon's Robert Frost to me.
He creates these interesting episodes and dramas, and you keep on saying, okay, what are you up to?
Traveling through the dark, I found a deer, dead, on the edge of the Wilson River Road. It's usually best to roll them into the canyon. That road is narrow. To swerve might make more dead. By the glow of the taillight, I stumbled back of the car and stood by the heap, a doe, a recent killing. She had stiffened already, almost cold. I dragged her off. She was large in the belly. My fingers touching her side brought me the reason. Her side was warm. Her fawn lay there waiting, alive, still, never to be born. Beside that mountain road, I hesitated. The car aimed ahead its lowered parking lights. Under the hood purred the steady engine. I stood in the glare of the warm exhaust turning red. Around our group, I could hear the wilderness listen. I thought hard for us all, my only swerving, then pushed her over the edge into the river.
Traveling Through the Dark was the title poem of a book that received a nomination for the National Book Award for Poetry in 1963. Other nominees included Robert Frost and William Carlos Williams. Stafford got the award.
This is the pinnacle of success for American poets, as far as recognition goes, is winning the National Book Award.
At the time, he was 48 years old and a professor at Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon.
One thing about my dad, a question I've had, was he a poet with an interest in ideas, or was he really a philosopher who used the practice of writing poetry to pursue his life as a seeker?
Every word Bill wrote, every word he spoke, every action he took, he bore witness to his profound belief in the nonviolent resolution of conflict.
Stafford was born in 1914 in Hutchinson, Kansas. He grew up during the Great Depression when nothing could be wasted, in a family that valued words.
People were eating boiled wheat, that's all they had. My dad's paper route was supporting the family. So there was a sense, I think, in the family that stories, books, gossip, talking recklessly, these were forms of wealth.
He took his love of language to the University of Kansas. There, Stafford wrote poems and learned firsthand the importance of peaceful witnessing.